Sorry about the echo, everybody. I've just got a chat there. I'll try and talk slowly so that you can't get this echo. But first of all, I would like to say welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to join. Teddy's here licking me. Obviously, I know a lot of your names, but not everybody. I'm sure you'll all know me. But for those of you that don't, my name is Sue Tosterman. I'm the owner of Young Ruffians and the owner of Miss Teddy. And Miss Teddy is a multi-poo, and she's 11 and a half years old. And as you can see, she loves licking. Okay, try and let me have some time here, Teddy. So first of all, what we're going to do is a live workshop all about desensitisation. It's going to be about an hour long, and I'm going to try and make it fun and memorable. However, we are going to record this meeting. Danielle, my PA, is here. She's going to record, and I think she's going to turn the camera on and say hello.
Hello.
She's waving.
Yeah.
That's Danielle. She's actually sitting comfortably in the sofa over there. That's why you might hear the echo, because Danielle needs to see if anybody's putting chat things in and direct me and tell me what to do. So we are going to record the meeting, and I've done a step-by-step guide, so we will send an email and the video, but it'll probably be sometime tomorrow. But also, if you do know me, I will be available anytime on WhatsApp, email, text messages or messenger to answer any questions, because for me this is quite simple. I speak to customers every day. Oh, could I just ask everybody if you could mute your volume, please? If you could just mute it, that's why we might be getting a little bit of feedback. Thank you. And I forgot where I was then. Where was I? Yeah, I'm at the end of the phone. Yeah, so I do this every day. I speak to customers all the time from all over the world, and I know that some of you are not just in the UK. So again, I appreciate the fact that there's a time difference there. And again, thank you for coming on. Hello, Angela. I can see, oh, look there. Oh, beautiful. Oh, we've got competition there, Teddy. Oh, hi, Lindsay. Just spoke to you. Okay, well, I'll get straight into it. So, oh, hi, Angela. You okay? I've got two Angelas there. Yeah, so my name is Sue, owner of Miss Teddy. She's a multi-poo. She's 11 and a half years old. I've been in business practically all my life. I've had several businesses, not really connected. The two businesses that are connected is Miss Teddy, where I designed and created dog clothes and sold them all over the world. Now, Teddy did get a lot of press, and when she got the press and we were doing the photos, I noticed how bad Teddy's tear stains were. And probably like most of you, I wanted to get rid of them. And so I was Googling all the time, what could I buy? What could I do to get rid of Teddy's tear stains? I spent a fortune, and I know quite a lot of you have because I've had conversations with you. And I bought products not just from the UK, but from all around the world, and nothing worked. Nothing at all worked. So putting my business hat on, I thought if I could get to the bottom of why dogs get the tear stains, then maybe I could create a product that actually works. And I was, well, first of all, I was only thinking about Teddy being selfish, because I wanted her to look good for the photo shoots, because as I said, it was getting a lot of press. So I did this, and I was amazed, because maybe again, like you, people put on Facebook, it's the food, it's the water, it's the bowls, it's this, it's that. There's so much information coming, I just didn't know what to believe. And when I took Teddy to the vet was very dismissive and just said, there's nothing you can do about it, basically put up and shut up, which I didn't really want to do. So when I researched why the dogs get the tear stains, I was amazed. So then created Young Ruffians and started selling that. And that Young Ruffians, the company, has far exceeded my expectations and really taken over Miss Teddy, the clothing company, although we still have that on Etsy. So just to recap before we get into the desensitisation, and we do have time for it, why do dogs get tear stains? Now this, you can ask your vet, also you can Google, and it will tell you exactly what I'm telling you, but I'm going to explain it in layman's terms how I would want it explained to me. So all dogs tear, some more than others. Every 3 months, dogs excrete their red blood cells, and in the excretion, of the red blood cells is a thing called porphyrins, and in the porphyrins is iron. So what we're dealing with is iron. Now, how they excrete these excretions is through their tear ducts, their saliva, and boy dogs, if you've got a boy dog, through their little winkle. So when, let's refer to Teddy. So when Teddy tears, it will come out as clear liquid. However, when it hits the atmosphere, it oxidizes and turns to rust. So that's really what we're dealing with. If you put a bike outside and it rains and it goes rusty, you cannot remove the rust with water because we're dealing with iron. So that's why my treatment works. You know, the combination of the liquid, the drying and the powder, it actually does work. So it comes out of their tear ducts and it comes out of their saliva. So you might see, you know, I've just seen somebody's dog there with a little bit of a beard stain. Beard stains, my treatment works on beard stains. It works quicker than the tear stains. However, it's more difficult to get rid of because you've really got, you know, the powder just falls off the beard. But basically, we don't use the liquid with the beard stains. We just use the powder. We first of all comb the beard, make sure there's no lugs in there, and then what I do is I put the powder between my fingers and I just get it on the fur and work it down. And it only takes about 3 or 4 days to do that, to get rid of the stains, and they're gone forever. I mean, Teddy is, can you see, it was almost black about 3 years ago. It only took me about a week to get rid of. So basically, if you have or are using any water-based products, baby ones, wet wipes, any liquid or just water, you don't need to do that because that will not get rid of the tear stains. My treatment will get rid of the tear stains. This is not an advert for my treatment, but I'm just explaining to you, you don't need to use anything else. But what you do need to do, I do have a saying, you spend more time drying than you do applying. So assuming that you've got my treatment, because I think some of you have got puppies, some of you might be new to this. So assuming you've got my treatment, and assuming you've either got a comb or you've bought my little Tedster comb. Now I designed this Tedster comb, because I used to, before I had this company, I always got Teddy on the counter every morning and just cleaned her face, did her ears and everything. You know, just really got her ready for the day. However, I did actually damage with a big metal comb, because that was all that was on the market back then, the bridge of her nose. I felt so guilty. So when I created this company, I designed this little 7.5 centimetre Tedster comb made from bamboo, and it's absolutely perfect for using a gentle sawing action to loosen any gunk and debris. It's difficult for me to do that, but I can do it on my own. So basically you would go backwards and forwards. If your dog has gunk or debris in their eye, don't pull it down the fur, because you're just pulling that stain down and you're just making that stain drag down the fur. Assuming you've got a comb, it doesn't have to be this one, but assuming you've got a comb and they wake up in the morning with gunk and debris or one or the other, we don't want that to sit on the fur, because if it sits on the fur, it's going to sink in, and when they tear, it's just going to go brown and brown, and then it's going to take you longer to get rid of that stain. So you use a sawing action backwards and forwards to loosen it. The reason I say that is if you're combing your hair and you've got a lug and you don't hold your hair, it's going to be painful. And you imagine the most delicate part of the dog around the eyes, it would be very painful. I know a lot of people tell me they pick it off with their fingers, or they would use tissue. We don't use tissue, we don't use cotton wool, cotton buds. My bamboo cloths are perfect for that. There's no fibres that's going to fall off that and potentially float around in the air. So if you haven't got a comb, then you can use either my finger wipes or the cloth, and you can just gently go backwards and forwards, loosen it, and then pick it up. Don't pull it down, pick it up and away, take it away, because pulling it down just drags the stain further down their beard, their face. So once we've done the little sawing action and loosened and removed the gunk and the debris, then you spend more time drying now than applying. So I want you to just go backwards and forwards, drying the eye. Now, on dogs like Teddy, I call furry-eyed dogs, so the Cavapoos, the Bichons, the Cavachons, the Maltipoos, the Maltese Poodles. Any dog that's got lots of fur will take a long time to dry, and you will be amazed. You'll think it's dry, but it won't be dry. So I normally just touch it with my little finger to see if it's dry. If it's still damp, I spend time going backwards and forwards with my bamboo finger wipes or cloth to dry it. Once it's dry, it's 2 sprays of the liquid onto the pink applicator. There's no rhyme or reason why I use pink as opposed to black. I just like to use the black for the powder because I can see all the powder on it. So it's only 2 sprays, choo-choo, and then you just wipe that once down the fur. Don't work it in, don't saturate it, just once down the fur. Now you might say, well, why are we drying it and then making it wet? It's because in this, it's got natural antibacterial properties in that will prepare the area ready for you to put the powder on. So once you've done the 2 sprays, then get the black applicator, put it into the tin of powder and really work it in, tap off the excess, and then I want you to work that powder right into the stain. And if you can, with the fingers of your other hand, separate the fur. So you separate the fur and you work that powder in. And I want you to get it as close to the skin as possible and on every strand of fur. Now, basically, you know when you've done it, when you've finished it, because there's no spores of powder left on the fur. I want to see no powder. And as you're working that powder in, and you'll be doing backwards and forwards, upside down and around, you will see the fur start to get lighter and dry, and that's what we want. Now, once you've finished that and you're happy that the powder's worked in, we can give the dog a kiss, put them on the floor, and we're done. However, some dogs might tear straight after, or half an hour after, or an hour after. That's what we need to be vigilant for, because once you see them tear, all I want you to do, either finger wipes or cloth, is just dry the tear. Now you might say, well, actually, Sue, we've put the powder in, aren't we wiping the powder off? No, because the powder, you've worked that powder in onto the stain, you can't see any spores of powder, it's gone. The powder is doing its magic and it's actually eating into that iron and turning the fur back to its natural colour. So of course, dog tear stains are more visible on white dogs, but I sell to black dogs, brown dogs. It doesn't turn the fur white, it just turns it back to its natural colour. So that's the treatment which all of you probably already know. But the key thing is we don't need to use water, baby wipes, wet ones, or any other product. We just need to spend a lot of time drying and applying the treatment. Keep applying the treatment every day until the stains have gone. Typically with me, it only took 14 days for Teddy's tear stains to go. However, it depends. Teddy's got a tiny face. It might take you longer. If you send me the photographs, I can zoom in and I always know how long it will take. If you're doing it every day and drying in between, guaranteed you will get rid of the tear stains. That's guaranteed. However, once the tear stains have gone, and hopefully some of you, my long-term customers, will know this, you do have to, every day, dry clean your dog's eyes. Because if they tear, remember, it hits the atmosphere, it oxidises, it turns to rust. If you let it sit there, it seeps in and just causes a stain. If you can catch that stain, then just dry once you've got rid of the tear stains. If you've left it for a few days, you might have to then start using a little bit more of the treatment to get rid of the powder, but it's definitely not a for life thing, not a forever thing. Now, some of you on here, I don't know if you've got bulldogs or Labradors, dogs with smooth, dense fur, or the little Chihuahuas. They have smooth, dense fur. The tear stain treatment works, however, it does take longer because they've got short strands that you can't really separate, even with my mini bear applicators. So I tend to suggest, and this is from experience and recommendations from my existing customers, to use the toothbrush applicator. You can spray the toothbrush, wipe it once, and then you can put the toothbrush into the tin and get the powder, and then work the powder in, or use your finger, or use the finger wipes or the cloth. But basically it does take longer, but it does work. The key for this, as well as the desensitisation, is it's all about doing it every day, just a routine. And I know obviously if you buy my treatment, you want, you know, to get rid of the tear stains. And my job is that if you've been doing it for 2 weeks and you've still got the tear stains, hopefully you'll reach out to me. I will zoom in and look at the picture, and I'll know exactly where you've been going wrong. We'll have a chat, hopefully put you on the right track, and then hey presto, you'd be ringing me 2 weeks later saying, Sue, it's just a miracle, they've all gone. So hopefully, I know I want to spend a little bit of time going over that, because I know some customers on here are either A, thinking about buying my product, or B, I've bought the product and really still a little bit confused of how to use it. So assuming that we all understand that, we can just dive right into the desensitising workshop. Before I do, I can't remember whether I said this. If you have any questions, you can put them into the chat. Danielle, over there with her feet up, lucky girl, is having a look at them, and she'll make sure that I answer the questions. But I just want you to be rest assured, if I don't cover any questions that you've got today, then you know you can always reach out via any media that you want, and you know I will definitely come back to you. So is it okay if I just have a sip of my tea, because I've still got a little bit of a cough? Thank you. Cheers. Hello, Cassandra. Cheers. Hi, darling. Lovely to see you. Okay. So, some of you have got puppies, and the reason we're doing this workshop, I think, is because I've spent an awful lot of time on the telephone to people that have got just had puppies, and the puppy is not letting them put the treatment on. So I've got a solution to this. So whether you're new to dogs or not, the key thing is that you are the boss. You are definitely the boss. I can see some of you shake your head. Teddy is sitting on my knee. She's 11 and a half years old, look at her. And I'm not a tyrant or anything like that, but I want a calm dog. So when people come to the house, she doesn't jump up and barks. I just want her to fit in with my lifestyle. I do have the patience of a saint. I've had lots of dogs in the past and other animals that I've trained. And so I did a lot of research. And the key thing is that dogs don't want to be the boss of you, because that's too stressful for them. They get very anxious. They don't like it. They want you to take control. And that's by being firm but fair, as I say. And dogs, they like routine, and they like to know where they stand with you. And all they want to do is please their owner. You know, you've probably noticed that. But of course, when they're puppies or when something new happens, you can't just expect them to know and understand what to do or how to behave. You, the owner, responsible owner, needs to train them and show them and teach them. And you can do this very quickly. I mean, when I first had Teddy as a puppy, I never had any wee-wee accidents, because I took Teddy out on the hour, every hour, and stayed in the garden until she did a wee-wee, and then rewarded her. So I just didn't want to have to deal, you know, with any little mishaps. I wanted her to be good from day one. So I put the work in. So my question to you is, have you got time to put the work in here? Because it's all about you having the time and being consistent and repetitive and overcoming this hurdle that we've all faced in the past. Have you got the time? You can nod if you want to. I can see some of you put your hand up. Excellent. Because I don't want you to think that I'm giving you a magic solution that when this Zoom finishes, you'll be able to do it straight away. But if you do the things that I say, I will guarantee and stand by that you will overcome this problem with your dog. I've been doing this for three and a half years now, and unbeknown to me, I've helped so many people with the desensitisation or with any problems that they've come up against. I've made suggestions and they've come back to me and said, oh my gosh, Sue, this works, it's a dream. So let's start. I'm going to see if I can put Teddy on here. So I don't know where you do the treatment, But I always put Teddy on my worktop in the morning, and I sit her on top of a little fluffy towel. When she's been out and done her ablutions and had a breakfast, that's when Teddy comes in and she's sitting down. So what I want you to do, let's assume this is the first time that you're doing it, so forget what you've done in the past. If you're struggling, I will definitely cover every aspect, in this meeting. So this is one of the bags. You've probably not seen that one before. Maybe you all put all your goodies in the bag. So if you do, I want the bag, I want this spray, the powder. If you've got a comb, the comb, the cloths, the finger wipes, the toothbrush, everything that you use to get rid of the tear stains, whatever you've bought, I want you to, it's probably best if you do it on a worktop rather than your knee, because then you've got a little bit more control. But Teddy's sitting down there and I'm putting all of the goods out in front of her. So if you've got a puppy, if they're, overexcited, whatever, what I want you to do is to set the time, and let's assume that Teddy's the puppy. So Teddy, come, you pick Teddy up, you put her on the counter, and then you lay everything out so that she can see it. Now, if she's nibbling, it's Teddy no, and just put her away. Yeah, we don't want her to be nibbling, to playing. These are not playthings. None of these are playthings. These are things that we need her to become desensitized to. So she thinks, oh, mum, dad want me, these aren't harmful. They just want me to see these things. So the first hour, if you've got an hour, every 10 minutes throughout the hour, I want you to call your dog. So Teddy, come, put them on the counter and put everything out so that they can see around them. We've got all these things and they're not to do anything with them. So if they were to nibble, it's Teddy no, pull her away. If they really start to play up and want to get off your knee, let them go down, give them a couple of minutes, Teddy come, in that voice. So it's a firm but gentle. So when she comes back onto your knee, we want them, the goal of this is we want them to ignore everything that's laid out there. So first of all, put everything out, put them on your knee or on the counter, and as soon as the dog goes for something, it's Teddy no, pull them away. Even if it's 5-10 times, Teddy no. If they're really boisterous and will not settle down, put them on the floor, just ignore them for a couple of minutes and then do it again. So this is repetition. So if you can do this one thing for say an hour, every 10 minutes, I mean, if it was me, because I'd want, results straight away, I'd be doing it every couple of minutes because, I want fast results. I want them on my knee. I want you to get their favourite treat that they absolutely love. I don't want them to see it. I don't want them to smell it. But when they are on the counter and they don't look at these, all these little things lying around, if they turn away, you've cracked it. If they got on your knee and they just turn away, treat. Good girl, Teddy, put her on the floor. Yeah, leave it for 5-10 minutes, bring her up again. So it's about repetition, because you want Teddy to think, my mum's putting me on my knee, she's in charge and she's being serious and gentle, so I've got to go. And she doesn't want me to look at these things. And if I don't look at these things, I get a treat. So that's the end goal on every one of these processes, isn't it, Teddy? So I haven't brought any treats up for Teddy, I'm afraid. In fact, Teddy's not a good eater, and she wouldn't really thank you for a treat. So I've done, oh gosh, Lindsay, look at yours. I've done all this, I've done all this without any treats with Teddy, but I've been consistent and firm. So remember, you are the boss, you're in charge. Yes, of course, we all love puppies, and if I could, I'd have a puppy every year of my life because I just love puppies. However, we want a puppy to behave, and think about this. If you do have a puppy and you can't apply my treatment, what if in several months or years' time you need to administer a tablet or an eye drop? Now we need to do that at some stage in our life with our dogs, tablets at least. So we need the dog to know when mum comes, yeah, look at me with Teddy, look, she's not even flinching, look. When mum comes, mum's in charge and I've got to sit and be a good girl. So that takes your time, your persistence, your consistency to do that. So hopefully Danielle will tell me that I've laboured on that point enough.
Yes.
I've laboured on that point. So if you've all got it, nod or put in the chat. So it's getting them on the counter, because then you're probably taller than them. You're in charge. Teddy, come on the counter. If they're fighting and want to go down, put them down. We're not having a battle here. We put them down because you're in charge. And then 5 minutes later, Teddy, come on the counter. And it might take you an hour to get them on the counter and sit. So if they get on the counter and sit, reward with their favourite treat. Only one treat. Teddy, good girl, take them down immediately. And then, so that was the first thing I forgot about. Maybe they don't want to sit on the counter. So your job is to get them to sit on that counter without pulling off or jumping or biting. So if they're biting, don't have any of it, put them down. If they're playing up, put them down. Take control. You want them to behave. And if you can do that process, we've overcome the counter and maybe looking at all of the products. So that's maybe the second hurdle. Then the next thing, once you've mastered that, the next thing I want you to do, you can still leave all the products out, which is fine. I just want you to get the cloth, and then I just want you to not touch. I just want you to go near the dog, but not touch. See, Teddy's looking away, which means that she's fine with it. So you just go near the dog. If they go to bite it, put them down or say, Teddy, no. We want them to look at this cloth and totally ignore it. So Teddy's just ignoring that because she's obviously used to it. If they bite on the floor and say, Teddy, no. If they look away, good girl, Teddy, a treat. And, just a tiny little small treat. Put them on the floor. 5 minutes later, bring them up, because it's all about repetition. They need to know that mum or dad is getting me up here and they just show me this cloth. It means nothing, and if I ignore it, I'll get a treat. So again, if you could do that, that might be the next day or even the afternoon or 2 days later, because I don't know how much time you've got in your life. So first of all, we've got them on the counter, so you know what to do. If they play up, put them down, bring them back up, just keep bringing them up until they're calm, and then let them see all the products. And then when they're calm around the products, treat, reward, put them down. Then we get the cloth out. So we're just getting the cloth. We can dangle it around. We can be a bit cheeky with it as well. Dangle it around, put it near them, but don't touch them with it, because they want to see that this cloth is harmless. And if I ignore it, Teddy's like laying down going to sleep now, I'll get a treat. But remember, Teddy is not a treat dog, so I did all this without treats. And if you're not a treat dog, you might have a clicker. So clicker, which they normally do. I mean, I've trained Teddy on clickering with doing high fives and things, and she's loved that. Clicker is also a positive reward, like a treat is. So once they've ignored the cloth, again, repetition, keep doing it. Once they've ignored that, then you would do that with all of the products. So that would be the tin of spray. Shake it around. When they ignore it and they don't go for it, then you can reward them. However, this is not like a day's job. This might take you a week or even 2 weeks to desensitize your dog. If you're off with them for a day, then I'm confident if you did this every hour, you would be able to at least dry their eyes without them flinching by the end of that day, as long as you keep repeating the same process. Now, I didn't talk about the comb. I don't know whether it was you, Lindsay, that said it's the comb that your little puppy keeps wanting to bite. I think it is, if it is not. So again, with the comb, I've looked at your puppy, quite tiny. This would be quite big, wouldn't it? It fills my eye. So if I had, a comb coming to me, I'd be quite nervous. So you might need to spend a little more time going near your gorgeous puppy with the comb. So with the comb, let her see the comb. If she goes to bite the comb, it's no, put her on the floor. Keep showing her the comb. Teddy's just completely ignoring this comb. And then when they ignore it, reward with a treat, put them down. Again, repetitive, keep bringing them up. And then with the comb, I forgot to tell you, what I do is I get Teddy under the chin. Can you see what I'm doing there? firm under the chin. I'm not hurting her. She might want to pull away, and then I can actually do the backwards and forwards sawing action with the comb. I'll try and get you in vision there. Look at that. And she's not even flinching. And that's what I want you to be doing eventually. Now just let her go. I'm not hurting her, but guess what? I'm the boss, I'm in charge, and I want to get rid of Teddy's gunk. And she won't understand what I'm doing, but she'll love it eventually, because I've noticed with Teddy, when I've got rid of any gunk and debris, she runs around the floor, she gets all excited. I know it's more comfortable. They don't want sticky, smelly gunk there. It must hurt them, it must pull on the fur. So with the comb, Lindsay, I would spend more time showing your dog the comb, putting it there, and when they ignore it, treat. So you might spend maybe a couple of hours on and off showing the comb. If they bite it, it's no. Put them on the floor. No. It's not a play toy. Do you know what I mean? It's not a play toy. They have to know mum's in charge and mum's saying no, and I'm not allowed to bite that comb, because obviously we're using it to get rid of the gunk. So hopefully I covered that, Lindsay, because I know you said you had a problem. So once, just as a recap then, so once you get every single product and just go, first of all, go close, let them see it, and when they look away, you've cracked it, reward, put them down, and then if you want to reconfirm that you've done that, bring them up a couple of more times, let them see it. If they go to bite it, no Teddy, and put them down, because you're in charge. They're not biting, they're not playing. If they're scrambling and really don't want to be touched, put them down, call them 2 minutes later. Because I've often said to a lot of my customers that have got puppies, obviously when a puppy, all I want to do is cuddle the puppy all day long. And puppies will, when they've had enough, they'll just go and lay down. And really, if we wanted a well-trained puppy, we should call the puppy to us when we want to play with them. Not let them, pick a ball or put our slippers and run around and think, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's so tempting to just bend down and play with the puppy. However, it might be heartbreaking if you think, oh no, I can't do it, but you're the boss, you're in charge, and you want a first class. Look at Teddy. You want a dog that's going to sit there like this. She would sit here. I wouldn't do it to her, but she would sit here, all day long if need be, and lay down on my desk. And she wouldn't be any trouble to me. If the postman comes and rings the bell, she might bark to let me know, and that's it. But this is because I'm the boss of Teddy. I'm not a tyrant. She absolutely loves me and I love her. I just want a calm dog, and she's definitely loves licking. So once we've got them accustomed and desensitized to all of our things, then we can start with the treatment. And again, it's a firm, the dog now is used to you, put them on the counter. So they're on the counter and that you've got everything out, and then you're just going to start by, if they do have gunk and debris, removing the gunk. Now, if you take hold there, can you see what I'm doing there? I'm not hurting Teddy. I'm just being firm. She knows I've got her. Yeah, she's looking at me, look, she wants to pull away, but I'm not hurting her. And if I let go, she'll lick me. So if I want to do anything with Teddy, I just grab under there. So that's quite easy. I've got control. I can do the comb. I can use my treatment and do anything to I want to. And if I'm administering eye drops, which I don't know whether I've done that, but tablets, they can be a problem. Once, when she knows mum's firm voice, she knows she's got to do what I'm telling her. And to administer a tablet can be quite difficult, as some of you might know. So hopefully, Danielle, have I gone through that?
Yes.
Yeah. So is there any questions in the chat box that I can answer now?
Hi, you mentioned earlier about you apply the treatment in the morning.
The time to do it in the morning. But what does your dog wake up with in the morning? They've got gunk.
I don't actually notice a lot of gunk and debris, and when we're grooming her, again, we're not removing anything, we're not getting anything substantial, or don't notice too many knots or anything around her eyes. It's just that she has got the staining. I don't know if that's.
It's quite usual. So the first thing I ask when I do get the opportunity to speak to people is, do they wake up in the morning with gunk and debris? Because we don't want that to sit. If you leave that, it's just going to seep into the fur. So, you know, how are you getting on with the treatment? Is it working for you?
We're noticing the difference. It's just she's got a lot of hair. So it's just getting it through all the hair, and the fact that she doesn't really she definitely doesn't like having her face groomed, full stop.
Do you think that this workshop has helped you? Do you think there's any tips that you can take on board?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the kind that we were using was just a small plastic one. Your one's arrived this morning, so I haven't actually tried your one. So I'll do that sort of scissoring action on the eye because I wasn't able to do that for it. Mine's more of a sort of a hooked mini comb. So I'll try that. But I think the process of desensitising her,
it's a long job. I know, and I've got, you know, every bit of sympathy for everybody. I know it's a long job. However, we've all heard the saying, you know, if there's nothing easy, you know, if you want something good, it's not easy. I forgot what the saying is, but we need to put the time into it to get the good results out of it.
I'm still teaching her the leave command as well, so that's the other thing, is at the moment telling her no is just not going to necessarily
it's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
But you know, every day you should see improvements with your puppy if you are in charge and, you know, the boss. A simple thing, if you know, when you walk out the door, you walk out the door first. You know, little nuances like that. Even now with Teddy, I open the door for Teddy when she's coming in the garden in the morning, and she'll just wait there until I walk in first. You know, so she remembers all of that. But you know, taking, you know, ownership and being the boss in a lovely, firm way is the way forward with your puppy. But I mean, I hope that you try and follow this, and you know, come back to me and say, Sue, I'm amazed it's worked. I know it will work if you put the time into it. But again, have we all got the time to do this? And you know, do we want to do it within 1 week or 2 weeks or 2 months? You really need to try and get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But if there's any, I'd love you to keep in touch with me and send me photographs. And if you want to ask me any questions, I'd be delighted to answer.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
What about Cassandra or Angela? Because I can see your beautiful photos there, your faces. Any questions? Oh, Angela, you're on mute. Do you know how to unmute yourself? That's it.
Yeah, hiya.
Hi, darling.
I'll give you a double question. I did bring this up before because of Teddy's fur, because he's Bolognese. The fur is, sorry, I'm very croaky at the moment. The fur is very curly, so I have some problems with the comb because it won't go through the fur, but I can manage that. But the applicator, it catches, it kind of swizzles round, and it can be quite difficult. I have tried dipping with my finger the powder and trying to work it in. But I do find it quite difficult to actually get the powder in where it needs to be.
Have you got any finger wipes?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, I mean, I'd love to see, you know, I want to see a close-up of his eyes to actually see what the problem is. So it's a Bolognese, because I sell to quite a few Bolognese owners, and it's the first time I've come with a problem. Maybe, because Teddy, she's got really furry eyes. Let me... You know, she mind you, she's got silky fur there, and it's combed away.
Right.
But basically, I would try, like I say to my customers, I'm giving you like the way that I do it, and most of my customers do with different breeds of dogs. However, if you've got a better way, any way that you can get that the powder on is a fabulous way. So you might want to try and put it on the finger wipe because that's small enough. And then just gently go like that. But because he's got, like, you know, you say he's got curly fur.
He's got a lot of fur.
We need to separate. Do you think you could separate it with the fingers? Could you separate it? Because we need to, you couldn't separate it.
It's like, it grows a certain way. It's almost like a frizzy perm.
Right.
If you imagine a frizzy perm, trying to get it through there. So, I mean, with a lot of work, and I do tend to end up using my
finger
in the end to try and get it in, but it is quite quite difficult with him. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not too worried about the comb because I can get most, but it's just getting the powder
Because
right in there.
and if you're using your finger, you're not really going to work it in because we want to see no powder, residue
I'll
powder
have
when
to
you
try and
finish.
send you like a close-up picture.
If you could, that would help me. And also, I'm thinking I've got one breeder that I know immediately that breeds the Bolognese, and she buys my treatment and then she recommends me so much on Facebook. So I can ask her that question because not only does she breed, she grooms and she shows them. She shows them.
Surname, the first name's not Faye, is it?
It's Jane.
Oh,
Jane
okay.
Towers. I don't know whether you know her, but she travels all over. So I will ask her that question.
Yeah, that would be. That
And
would
come
be
back to you.
really
But do you think you could just send me, via DM, Instagram, whatever,
I'll try and do that.
a picture
try and do
so I
that.
can have a look and see what you're talking about with his, frizzy
Yeah.
perm hair.
And the second part, very quickly, these bits here.
Yes.
Was it you called them chops? Is it?
I call them the beard.
Yeah. It's a bit difficult because I didn't even know you could use the tear stain treatment for that. I saw your video. This isn't too bad because I can kind of grab him like that. He won't tolerate that.
Oh.
Grab him like that. But here,
Mm.
it's constantly wet. Constantly wet. It's this part in particular.
Okay.
How can you keep? Is
Well,
it the same principle?
Same principle. First of all, right, which I forgot to mention this, by the way. So when dogs go out in the morning, it's the morning dew on the grass, and they get their beard or whatever you want to call it, their chops wet. When they come in, what we should do is dry. Just dry it. When they've had a drink of water, we dry it. So when they've
It's in my back pocket of my jeans.
well done. We just dry it. Now the beard. Now when you say under his under there, is he constantly licking? Is that why it's wet?
He does tend to do that also because of where we live. Do you remember
Yes.
I'm right by the sea?
You're my lovely lady. You're in my phone as lovely Angela, lovely lady by the sea.
So I mean, it's
Constant.
we've got
Well,
high humidity and
I know. Well, basically, it's the drying. Spend more time drying with his, facial wetness. Now, what you could do, you don't need the liquid for the beard.
okay.
We only need the liquid for the eyes. That's all.
Yeah.
But you need the powder. So again, if he's got like a frizzy perm type fur, there's no point in putting my powder on unless you've got all the lugs out of it. So, like Teddy is, can you see how smooth Teddy is there?
One sec, hang on. Right. Yes.
Let's have a look at him.
Give me trouble.
Oh,
No,
hello, we're here. He's gorgeous. I can't see any stains on his eyes.
Hang on. Ted, keep still. He hears the voices and he thinks you're coming from outside. He's got a pink eye as well. So
I saw the pink eye.
yeah, there's nothing, that's just the
Just-
colouring. It's really, can you see? It's
Beautiful
really
fur.
big.
Wow, absolutely
It's like a
gorgeous.
sheep.
Yeah, like a sheep. Just under there, because if I lift Teddy's
This
lips,
bit.
yeah,
That bit.
it's not that bad. If you dried it, and then just put a little powder, because it doesn't look too curly, put a little powder in between your fingers and down, you'll see it more or less vanish there and then.
I agree.
But work the powder in. Don't leave any bits of powder on his fur because it's not doing the job if you do that. We need to work it in. But he looks gorgeous. He looks absolutely gorgeous.
He loves your product in that he wants to.
Lick it, does
Yeah.
he? Well, work it in. If it's the powder, really work it in. Then he's got nothing to lick. Because you'll have worked
That's
it in.
right.
But all I can say, darling, is more time drying this mouth area, because Teddy, she's probably got a tiny bit of brown. I don't really know. Yeah, just there where it's wet, just tiny strands. if I put the powder on her now, then that would just go white. That's how fantastic the powder is. But she's more or less dry, but dogs are always under their lips, as I call it. They always have little wet. You'll never get rid of that, and you shouldn't really expect to. But Teddy, this is unbelievable, but Teddy looks white now. Before my treatment, Teddy was virtually black. Daily Mail came and did a photo shoot, and I was shocked at how black this beard was. And it only took me 5 days to get rid of that, and it's never come back wrong. I've never had to put it on a beard again. And I know if she has a drink of water, or if she's outside in the morning dew and she comes in and she's wet, I just dry it. So it's the drying that's more important. Dry. But I think he looks gorgeous. I mean, he's so white. Teddy doesn't look as white as him.
It really has helped. It's helped massively.
Oh, thank
really,
you.
It's made a big difference. Okay, I shall mute myself.
Okay, my darling. Well, lovely. Yeah, lovely. And well, still send me a close-up photograph, and I'll ask Jane about it. All right, darling.
All right, I'm going to listen
to Cassandra.
Thanks.
Hello, darling.
Hey. Well, I don't really have a question, but Owen really stays very wet, and I think I made a little mistake there because I was pulling it down.
Oh, right.
So I think that's why a little bit. But I was wondering, can you apply the product like in the morning and in the evening? Would that do any difference?
You can do if you want to, because then hopefully that will take you less time to get rid of the stains. I mean, is he there with you at the moment?
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit wet now, but yeah, he's a very long hair here, so it's difficult to get it out here, you know.
But you've only just let's have a look.
This is Owen, guys.
Oh, he's absolutely gorgeous. Hello, Owen.
See, it already has done a little difference. But it's still a black string here that goes to the eye, all the way down here. So that's still because it's all the time wet, and it's very difficult to keep that dry.
Well, that's the key thing, darling. As we know, we've had several conversations. I mean, I didn't know you was pulling it down, but we don't need to do that. But you are. I've seen the photographs, you know, before, and there's a definite improvement. So. You know, because he's got long, beautiful long fur, it will take longer than anybody like Teddy that's just got a small beard. And I noticed you pull his hair up and put him in a little top knot, and that's what we need to get rid of, that brown. So you could, on there, is that wet? You know, that bit up on his head, is that wet?
Well, you can actually see just a little bit of string. Wait, hold on. I don't know if you can.
Yes.
And just a little bit is wet there.
You know what? It's more than, you know what I would do with those bits? Yeah. Okay. You know when you do him, do you take his top knot off, and is that right? With those bits that you pull up there, I wouldn't put any liquid on that. Do you know why? Because when he's tearing, it's going down. It might go up a little bit, but all up there, you should really be able to put some of the powder in between your fingers and work on it and get it all done. And I think that would be quicker. Don't put any liquid on it. Just use the powder on those bits. You could probably do that at the night time, just the powder on those bits, and then just reapply the liquid and the powder there. But the problem is that you've all found out, especially you, Angela, if they're incessantly tearing for whatever reason, you have got a long battle. Poor old Angela will never get on top of this, but I have seen an improvement.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, is this girl finished?
We were just talking, but have you got something to add?
I was just going to say, because I think it'll be the same. Sorry, I don't know the name of the other girl. Cassandra. I think it'll be the same idea. So, Hamish I've learned so much today, I have to say, about the fingers, the beard, all sorts of things. But I find at times Hamish's face is never dry, never. Is there any point in me putting the powder on? Sometimes I think, don't bother with the spray because it's already wet. Am I going to wet it anymore?
I wouldn't put the spray on, Andrew. I don't know if we've had a chat about this, but if he's got gunk and...
It's not really the gunk anymore. I'm a bit like another girl who spoke as well. because she can't really see the gunk, but it seems to be just always brown. But the face is constantly wet, and even when I mop it up, I still never feel as if it's completely dry. Is there any point in putting the powder on?
I probably would spend more time drying. I probably wouldn't put the liquid on. And see how you go. You know, when you said you went away and your husband did it and you could see there was a difference, you might find that if Hamish is, you know, in a relaxed mood, you might be able to do it once a week or something. But if you can just keep on top of the drying for Hamish, you know that just drying alone won't get rid of the tear stains. However, you know, it should stop them from getting really, really dreadful.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I've learned honestly so much, including when he drinks out the bowl. I never go over and wipe his chin.
Oh.
And so for that part alone, I think, well, I need to start doing it. So thank you, Sue, and sorry for interrupting anyone else.
No, that's fine, because obviously any conversation helps the rest of us. And it's always lovely to, you know, get little tips. And now you just got the tip about don't use the liquid. And maybe not use the powder every day. Let's just see how you go with the drying, and then you might want to apply it once a week. I don't know.
Okay.
But you can let me know on that. Okay.
I will.
Thank you, darling. Yeah. So Cassandra, you back there, darling? Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So we don't pull anything down. I think because he's got that long silky fur, it will take you longer.
A little bit longer,
It will do,
Well,
but you're doing a good job applying it.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I noticed a difference when I told you before that it, since using the powder, it's already more dry throughout the day, you know? So you can really notice the difference there, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of my customers, in the beginning, so I'm talking about 3 years ago, told me that when they started using the powder, it did dry their stains up, and I don't know what the logic is behind that, but it did. Unfortunately for Angela with Hamish, it won't, because she's administering these drops every day. But with any other dog, it should do, and I think with yours it will do. And I can't wait to see him completely clear.
Completely white, me either, yeah.
I know, but as long as you've got the motivation, darling, to continue to apply, and I think you have, to continue to apply it, then you will get, you know, through that pain barrier, and you will see him eventually completely white. I didn't realise
he's looking at me like, yeah.
he's gorgeous. He's quite tiny, isn't he?
Well, I think he's kind of already big, but he's now 10 months, so he still needs to grow a little bit. He had some problems eating, a little bit spoiled, I think. But he's doing well. Yeah, he's now 3.5 kilos. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, I think Teddy's about 7 kilos. But do you think?
Oh,
do you think today's helped you?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it did make a few mistakes, so we will adjust that, and we hope it will get better every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's lovely. Well, as I say, we will be sending the video, because if you've got other friends that have got dogs that are struggling, you can send it to them. And of course, I will be sending a step-by-step guide as well. And then if you obviously all of you, you know, reach out to me anytime. I love to hear from you. I love to see pictures, and I love to hear how you're getting on. Is there anybody else that wants to ask anything? You're muted, Angela.
Sorry, I've just typed a question. Loxie's playing with a really noisy toy next to me. So, just the point with regard to the licking the product, is it, obviously I'm trying to avoid it, but is it safe if she does end up ingesting any of it?
It is. I mean, in the beginning, I had messages from people saying, oh my gosh, my dog's just eaten the full tin of powders on the floor. What's going to happen? Yeah. And I said, well, maybe they'll be sick, I don't know. But it didn't affect them. No, just licking the product is obviously not going to harm them at all. But obviously you don't want them to do that. Is she licking it when it's on a beard? How is she getting at it?
It's just that because she's wriggling around, sometimes she'll manage to get the brush when it's on it and give it a lick, and then she'll have a cough and.
It won't cause any damage at all. But what I'm really interested with you, Lindsay, is getting on top of your Loxie and you know, being in charge and applying the treatment.
I don't think I'm the boss yet. She's 13 weeks.
Let's all have a look at her, because she is gorgeous. Just lift her up. Let's see her.
Come here, you. Come here. Really?
Oh my gosh, look at her. Oh,
Bundle
look.
of fluff at the
And
moment.
she's a Cavapuchon.
Cavapuchon, yeah.
And how old is she?
13 weeks.
Wow.
But she's like a little local celebrity. We can't walk anywhere without getting stopped continuously at the
I'm
moment.
not surprised. Is she on Instagram?
No.
Oh, well,
Much to my daughter's disgust. I think that's what she'd like to do.
oh, maybe not. I mean, when I used to take Teddy to the post office, when I first had this company, I had a chapel. That's where we worked from. And so on the way home, we'd go to the post office with all the orders, and I'd take Teddy with me, because obviously she was with me all the time. And I used to practically get mugged, especially at Christmas when she was wearing her beautiful red and white harness. You know, any little dog that looks like this, or your dog, everybody is just the awe factor, and you can always make new friends when you've got a little dog with you, can't you? She's gorgeous. So, Lindsay, do you think you've learnt something from today?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I mean, I've already seen improvements in the tear staining anyway, which is good. But I think the drying part, I haven't been doing that so much, and I think now I've got that comb. Hoping that she'll be okay.
Yeah, good. Well, you know, I'm always at the end of the phone or message for all of you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Teddy's enjoyed it, being a little star sitting here, and Danielle's enjoyed it with her feet up.
Yeah.
And you know, we can do Zooms about anything in the future. So if you've got any ideas of anything you want me to help you with, you know, any paw chewing problems or anything else, if I can't, you know, answer it, then I always find out. But I've been a dog owner all my life, and every problem with a dog, that's why I've created this this company. You know, I've normally got a solution to look at my Teddy. So I think, have I got a message from somebody here, darling?
And he says it incorporates the eye treatment with a massage for him, part of a relaxation process.
Oh, who's that? Peter, was it?
Angela Keating.
Oh, really? So yeah, I know. Well, the thing is, I didn't talk about the bonding, because when we do this, it is a bond. You know, it's a way of bonding with your dog. And you know, I don't know whether you do, but I often give Teddy a massage. Look at her. She loves this. Just a massage, gentle around there. And I know that
I do that quite a lot, because he's what needs to happen is for you to come and move in with me,
Okay.
and tell my dog that I'm the boss, because he doesn't get that.
What about if I send him a letter, or
I'm sure he can read. He's got intelligence spirit. No, I do quite. I mean, Sue knows, but for the other girls, I've never owned an animal ever, anything, not even a budgie. So this was quite a steep learning curve. So she's been really great with helping me. But I also find he looks forward to this now, because I just say eyes. That's it, eyes. Wave the cloth. And once we've done that, I get the cloth, and particularly with a dog that's a bit hyper, which he is, and just over the top, just smooth it over the top, and then down the lower back. And you can actually see him really kind of chill.
yeah.
So I think for him, I don't know if it would help anybody else, but I think for him, you know, quite a high maintenance, excitable doggy, having that as part of like a relaxation to chill has really helped.
Oh, I think that's amazing. Because I get Teddy, I'm just trying to demonstrate it on here. Sit down, Teddy. Sit down, baby. Sit. Right. In the morning, Teddy and I have mummy and Teddy time. This is because they're routines. She looks at me, and I know she wants a cuddle. So she sits on my knee, facing that way, and I'm just massaging her, going all the way up and down on her head, and she loves it. And we have a good 10 minutes, and then she'll jump down. She's had a little massage. I mean, Teddy's quite a calm dog, but I imagine if you've got a dog that isn't calm, that especially around the head. But you know the tummy, did you know that calms them down? Because when they're puppies, if they're misbehaving, watch the mums, they touch their tummy. It calms them down. So Teddy, you know, she never really gets excited. But quite often I tickle her tummy and she loves it. Just a gentle going round, circular. You go around circular movements and then half circle and then go back. It does something to dogs, I don't know what. But absolutely, massaging, you know, cuddling like this, they love it. Doesn't have to be all day long. But, you know, it's, you know, dog licking, that's a sign of affection. And, you know, Teddy seems to do that an awful lot. But I do like that idea, and I've had a lot of customers, Angela, tell me that they go to sleep, you know, they love having the treat. Not, obviously, all dogs will like it, but they can. You can get your dog to like it because it's time with their owner, and it's a closeness and it's a bonding. And I think dogs know. Would you all agree with me? You know, when Teddy is poorly and I have to give her a tablet, she knows that I'm making her better. She just knows she's having this tablet. She doesn't want it, but she knows and she appreciates it. You know, dogs have got this sense, so they know that what you're doing is nothing harmful. It's quite nice. And dogs, listen, if we had dirty eyes that were wet and a little bit with fur, it was a bit tight with gum, be uncomfortable. So when it's clean, they feel better. I just know they do. Okay, so I think we've finished for today. And again, I can't thank you all enough for coming on, and it's lovely to see all your faces. And I've not seen Hamish, but we've seen... Is Hamish with you, Angela, or is he...
Hamish is here. Yeah, Hamish.
Hamish, look at him.
Oh,
Hello, darling.
Hamish has quite a lot of tear staining, but he would be much worse than that. It's a pity I couldn't show everyone how bad Hamish was. Maybe if I send it to you, Sue,
yes.
I'll show you the picture when I first got Hamish. So there has been an improvement, even though Hamish looks pretty not so good just now. I was away for 5 days and the treatment wasn't done. People will definitely see there's a vast improvement with doing that. What I do, just as a recap on what people have said just now, when you said you put Miss Teddy on your knee, I tumble him back the way so the he doesn't shake the eye drops out.
Oh.
I wait a little minute, I give him the massage on the back, and then I gently turn him over. It's quite funny because I do all the massaging in the tummy, and then I'll say, "That's your waxing appointment overnight for Hamish," and he's sleeping. He won't get up.
Oh, that's lovely. Do you know what, Angela?
I try to do everything.
I think he looks quite good. You know, I've seen him worse than that, and I've seen the photographs. But if you send me an up-to-date one, I will send it out to everybody. But you know, we've probably even done a post with Hamish, I think, before.
Yeah.
But
So,
I suppose
I've made a few mistakes, so I will also do better and keep you posted.
Yeah, if all of you could keep me posted, that would be music to my ears. And as I say, we'll send you out the video, and then if you've got any other friends with any, you know, desensitising, just send them the video, send them my step-by-step guide, whether they have the treatment or not. It will help them. But all I can say is, guys and ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing. And goodbye from Teddy and me and
Bye, everybody.
Danielle.
Yes.
Bye, Sue.
Bye-bye, my darling. And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.